So, 3 months ago, you all may remember how Nessa Barrett had released her latest single called Dying on the Inside. After years of being on social media and dealing with tons of comments about her eating disorder, her weight, and comments even telling her that she's faking her eating disorder for attention, Nessa Barrett decided to finally open up about her biggest struggle. Previously, Nessa opened up about her song with 17 magazine saying, "I wanted to share my experience with an eating disorder that I've had, while also being able to make a song that people can relate to. Even if they don't have an eating disorder, they might still struggle with comparing themselves to other people online." Tons of people were actually here for Nessa's music video. A lot of people related to her music video, and tons of comments were praising her for the way she represented her music video. A lot of people on social media were inspired and said that she had great representations of what having an eating disorder is actually like. This wasn't the first time Nessa Barrett had opened up about extremely personal topics though. Nessa recently went on Instagram Live and she answered comments that she was getting about her eating disorder. Here's what she had to say.
I want to talk about something, and I really hope that you guys understand and know that this is coming from, I am being so genuine, and I'm not mad, and I'm not trying to be rude or but I don't want to read or see comments about my body or weight right now. I just genuinely can't handle it. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but I feel like it's been an ongoing thing, and it's just really damaging to me because
she opened up a lot and also talked about other mental disorders she had.
I have relapsed recently in my eating disorder, and I did not think or am not totally aware of how noticeable it is because of how that my body dysmorphia is. And reading those comments, whether it's talking about how much weight I lost, or people telling me that I should eat, or people saying that I bod goals and asking what my workout routine is, I don't want that, and I cannot handle it right now. And I appreciate it, and I love you if you're just being kind and genuine, but it is very damaging, and I am getting help, and yeah, it's whatever. But I don't know, I get very embarrassed too. It's very embarrassing, and it's just something that's very hard for me. And I hate that, there's thousands of people that are commenting on it when I'm living through it. I deal with it all the time, and it honestly me, and I want to cry right now.
Nessa also recently had an interview with Nylon magazine, and she talked more in depth about her eating disorder, saying this. "My eating disorder started when I was in middle school. Growing up, I moved around in New Jersey a lot and had just enrolled at a new school. There, I was a growing 12-year-old with new friends. I became very insecure and would constantly compare myself to them. In my diary, I drew myself as a blob and them as stick figures. I thought, I want to look like them. At first, I would have my mom pack my lunch, or I would be like, hey mom, I'm going to get lunch at school, and then not eat anything. Sometimes I would hide my dinner or say that I was eating it in my room and flush it down the bathroom toilet. I would try to see how long I could go without eating any food. I developed such a negative relationship with food, which I used to love so much. I would go on Tumblr and look up pro-Anna stuff that as a young girl is just so terrible to look at, but I was obsessed and I didn't really know it was a problem. At 18, I was diagnosed with BPD, and later learned that eating disorders can often occur alongside BPD. As soon as I came out to Los Angeles and started my music career, my ED got bad again. At first, I was going back and forth between home and LA, so I didn't really get the full LA experience. I wasn't dealing with hate comments at that time or people judging what my body looked like. I was just so excited to be there and that I was doing something with my life. But as soon as I officially moved and I didn't have a guardian or anyone that cared or watched what I ate, I didn't eat anything. I didn't have bulimic tendencies until I came to LA. Freedom can cause someone who deals with mental health issues to do so much. I could do whatever I wanted, whatever my brain told me to do, because no one else was telling me to do something else. My mom had always been big on trying to make me eat and making sure I was eating. Not having her around made it easy to do what I wanted, while also constantly comparing myself to everyone here. year. There was also the time where I started to see comments from people asking if I was pregnant, or saying, oh, she gained weight. I have had comments from people really close to me about weight loss, and I also have heard and have been hurt by comments from people that I know about my weight gain at certain times. I've seen texts where someone has literally written someone else saying, Nessa looks so fat right now. I know what people say about me. I've never spoken about this before, but at that time I developed a substance habit behind everyone's back. For probably 6 months, I was doing certain substances that make you uninterested in eating, and I loved it. When I started dating Jaden, he helped me quit. I got sober, and that took a toll because I didn't have a substance controlling my hunger anymore. Right now, I think my eating disorder is probably the worst it's ever been. I'm really good at keeping things to myself, especially when I'm embarrassed by it. This is the first time I've ever opened up about struggling with my eating disorder. I've been so vocal about all of my other mental health issues, but this one is different. But as I was just writing my album, I thought, why don't I write about this? Because I'm dealing with it daily. She continued to say, every one of my writing sessions starts off with a therapy session. It's a hard process. Putting your thoughts into lyrics that are going to be a part of a song is very hard for me to do sometimes, especially when we're talking about a topic that is extremely triggering and could be very sensitive. I don't want to trigger other people going through something similar because everyone deals with things differently. I wanted to be very careful. That was probably the hardest part about writing it. But unbeknownst to me, there was someone else in this session who had dealt with this as well. Sometimes when you deal with something, you're so close to it that you can't really see the big picture. Having another person was helpful. I think that we made a beautiful song and we were able to put a lot of meaning into something without it being too in your face or too triggering. Nessa also talked about how scary it was for her to release this song, saying, it's really scary to be releasing it. I fear the comments that are going to be, oh, you don't even look like you have an eating disorder, especially when I have a music video that's coming out with it. I know how some people are going to judge me. I just have to remind myself that there's a reason why I wrote this song. There are so many people in the world that struggle with an eating disorder that I feel this song could really help them. That's why I made it. I'm still struggling. I have a lot of people around me who are very supportive and actually love and care about me, but I'm still struggling. I see so many versions of myself. I see the person that is online, I see the person that is actually me, and then I see the person in the mirror, and they're so different, and it's almost very hard for me to keep up with everything. My music is probably 70% of my time, and then the rest is just dealing with my mental health. It's a constant battle, and it's a terrible game that I play with myself. But I am in dialectical behavior therapy right now, and we have started to focus on my eating disorder. It's helped a lot, and I feel like sometimes I'm doing everything I can to help myself, because if I told anyone right now that I was ready for recovery, I'd be lying. I hate that it's not really talked about enough. Most people who don't struggle with it have little knowledge about eating disorders, which causes so many comments and judgments to those that struggle. It's so much more than someone telling me to just eat more. It is a mental game that slowly starts to morph itself into this monster inside of you. It's a mental illness, and we should treat it as such. I hope my song brings as much awareness as it can. When people listen to On the Inside, I want to remind them that they're not alone. I want everyone to know that they are beautiful no matter what, and that it's unfair for them to put so much pressure on themselves, and that I know how hard that is.